lot of testimony tonight. I don't think we heard both sides of an issue. You know, everybody creates narratives around their personal experience, and I do as well. I'd like to say that I'm not a young person. I've lived almost 7 decades. In that time, I've participated in demonstrations, noticeably when I was 14 in an anti-Vietnam War demonstration in which I saw tremendous police brutality. I saw pregnant women being clubbed. I saw a lot of people shed blood. It was a very difficult time, the Vietnam War era. There were many demonstrations throughout the country. It was a period of great stress. So I grew up in LA where police brutality was more the norm than not. And I got to see it firsthand. Many years have gone by, and I've seen many other situations, some in other countries as well, where tactics were used that I certainly didn't approve of and I thought were counterproductive. When it comes to Sacramento, during demonstrations around Stephon Clark, I would like the public to know that I was out on the streets during several of those demonstrations. And there was one around Stephon Clark where I felt that the police made a call that was not the most productive, that led to unnecessary arrests. And we've dealt with the aftermath of that, with lawsuits and everything else, as was appropriate. On the other hand, during the Stephon Clark demonstrations, there is no doubt that some people were injured by projectiles. And Chief Lester, can you come up to the podium? I do have a couple questions for you. I'm not going to make this real long, Mayor.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, thank you. Chief Lester, did our police force use rubber bullets during the demonstrations?
We don't have rubber bullets, Councilmember.
So can you say that a little louder?
We do not have rubber bullets, but to be clear, we do have other forms of less lethal that people often assume are rubber bullets, but we do not have rubber bullets in our stock.
Well, I appreciate you clarifying. Excuse me.
Excuse me, Councilmember Harris. There's not going to be any shouting from the dais. We're going to maintain a civil discourse here in the chambers. Everyone's had the opportunity to talk. We all listened intently, and now it's the council's turn to deliberate. Councilmember Harris.
Yeah, thank you. Just to continue my narrative, and Kathy, if you'll stay there for a second, I have one more question. When I participated in these demonstrations here in Sacramento, I wasn't on the police side of the line. I was in the public side, so I was the recipient of a little bit of tear gas. But I have to tell you this, I did go around to several parts of the city, and the part of the story that's not being told tonight is the fact that police officers were assaulted to a pretty high degree all throughout the city. I saw many projectiles being thrown at police.
Fucking water bottles. Get the fuck out of here.
I saw a police officer hit in the throat with a brick. When you're in an intense situation like that, there's calls by public safety to keep the peace. Look, if you look around the country and you look at how Sacramento fared during those demonstrations, we did better than most of the other cities in the country. This city did not burn down. We did not have massive injuries, and we didn't have deaths. The police in those kinds of tense situations are up against it. They have to make very quick decisions. And personally, this is my personal opinion, I feel that our police department acted with tremendous reserve, and overall, they made decisions that saved our city from great harm. So I get it. You don't agree with me. That's okay. I don't agree with you either. But that's the nature of being in America. We have free speech, and we are allowed to disagree with each other, which is a wonderful thing. Chief, is there anything in this ordinance that you've presented that does not comply with AB 481?
I'll answer the question. I feel like we're fully in compliance with AB 41, and you have to understand also that the policy has to go through the city attorney's office, and we've worked very closely with the city attorney's office, not just on this version of the military equipment use policy, but on the original version when the law first came into effect, and we presented in December.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Those are all my questions for you, Chief.